Hello everyone, Karen here from The Timeless Dog. I wanted to take a few minutes today to talk to you guys about positive and negative reinforcement. They're the first two quadrants of operant conditioning, which is how all living things learn. But I'm not going to get very scientific or very deep, and I just want to talk about the first two, not all four, because these are the two that we as humans use every single day, whether we realize it or not with our dogs. And I want to help explain it in a way that you can really go, oh, okay, that's why my dog's doing this. So let's dive in. I want to start with positive reinforcement because it's the first quadrant. So it makes sense to start there. Now, if you've ever read any books or looked online for dog training information, you've probably seen R+. R+ just simply means positive reinforcement. Sometimes they do invert it and it will be plus R, but that's pretty rare. So if you see R+ or plus R, that just means positive reinforcement. So what are some examples of positive reinforcement? The first one we're going to talk about is yes. Now, yes doesn't have to be the only positive reinforcement word. It can be any marker word that means something to your dog. That means what you have done is right, payment is coming. I use yes with my dogs because, well, we as humans, we just don't say it a lot. We tend to be saying good boy or good girl, or you're so cute, or you're so fluffy to our dogs. And when we're constantly saying it to our dogs, it can kind of lose its meaning. So a marker word that's special to learning and you're not saying all the time, like yes, is really great. It's positive. It means something good to your dog. So think about incorporating a marker word that's different than good boy or good girl. Yes is pretty easy. Now, the next one on our list of positive reinforcements, try saying that, is praise. Everybody loves praise, right? If somebody tells me, good job, Karen, I'm going to be excited and I'm probably going to want to do it again. And it's the same thing with our dogs. So praise is great. You can absolutely still say good boy or good girl with your dog. Yes is just a different praise word. But I also praise CJ in other ways than yes or good boy or good girl. I will get really excited. I'll throw a dance party with him. I'll say, yes, good job. Oh yeah, you did it. So praise is great for our dogs. Now, the next one is CJ's favorite, and personally, my favorite for human learning, and that's treats. Treats are food. It's a positive reinforcer. We tend to use it a lot in dog training, especially in the early stages because it's quick and easy, and everybody loves food. If you've taken one of my classes or even just been around me as a human being, you've learned that munchkins are pretty much my positive reinforcer. So we all have a food that motivates us. That's just kind of who we are as humans. So you have to figure out though what treat or food motivator your dog loves the best. And that's also good for them. CJ loves chicken and would probably do anything for it, but the issue is he's allergic to chicken. So I can't give him that, but you know what else he loves? Cheese. He'll do just about anything for cheese as well, so I use cheese for a high value reinforcer. So treats are a great reinforcer for dogs. Now, the last one on our list is play. Before we dive into play though, keep in mind, I'm not listing all of the positive reinforcers in the world. I'm just listing a few to give you an idea of what positive reinforcement looks like. So play can be really great for your dog. If your dog loves to fetch, you can reinforce good behavior with a game of fetch. If your dog loves to tug, reinforce with tug. I'm pretty sure another reinforcer that's not listed here that a lot of our dogs love is going for a ride. I'm sorry if your dog was around when they just heard me say that, but again, CJ loves going for a ride. So if he does something really good I'll treat him and I'll reinforce that behavior with going for a ride. So you have to figure out what your dog finds most reinforcing. Think about what reinforces you as a human being. I'm not going to do anything for a piece of broccoli, but like I said, for a munchkin, I'll paint your house. Okay, that's probably a bit of an overreach, but whatever motivates your dog the most is going to be a positive reinforcer. Okay? Now, let's move on to negative reinforcement. Now, some of the things I have listed here are not necessarily pleasant, but we have to talk about them. So let's just dive in. The first negative reinforcer is no. We don't like hearing it as humans, right? We want people to say, yeah, absolutely. Nobody wants to be told no. And it's the same thing for our dogs. So if we're constantly going, no, that's not very reinforcing. That's not fun, right? So no is on our list of negative reinforcements. Next up is shouting. We all do it. We've all been there. We've all been mad at our dogs. But if we're going, no, and screaming at them all the time, that's not very nice. That's a negative reinforcement. It's not going to solve the problem other than making us feel good for a second because we got our frustration out on our dog. But try not to shout at your dog because that's not going to solve anything. Next up is pushing. We've all done it, I'm sure. A dog jumps up on us and we push him off, or we shout and we say no and push at the same time. No, off, bad dog, don't you jump on me. But guys, guess what? All of that has just reinforced that behavior. We may think we're conveying to our dogs that we don't want them to do that and we don't want them to jump on us, but all they know is that they just got attention from their human. So that was pretty cool. I'm going to try that again. They don't really understand that when we're shouting and we're saying, no, bad dog, that what they did, they shouldn't do again. They just know it ultimately worked. Maybe it wasn't as pleasant as getting a treat, but my human paid attention to me, and that's all I really wanted. So all of these things still reinforce the behavior. Now the last one is tricky, but we're going to talk about it. So unfortunately, choking. Choke chains are still on the market. I don't know why. They're barbaric. There's no limit to how tight they can get. Dogs have died from choke chains. They cut off the airway to your dog. But how they were used originally, or technically still to this day, is you would pull up on a choke chain until your dog did the behavior you wanted, whether it was a sit or a down or a stay. And then once your dog did the behavior, you would remove that negative reinforcement and let them breathe again, ultimately conveying what you're trying to do. But we don't want to choke our dog. We don't want to hit our dog. We don't want to push our dog. We don't want to yell at our dog. It may be tempting at times to go, oh my God, shut up. But guess what? That's all reinforcing. Because guys, on this, we've got positive reinforcement and negative reinforcement. And what do they have in common? Reinforcement. They reinforce whatever behavior it is you're working on. So you may think you're conveying, no, stop that, that's bad. But really you're reinforcing the behavior that you're trying to correct. So instead of shouting at your dog or pushing them off, teach them with positive reinforcement what you would rather them do. So instead of jumping up on you and shouting at them, teach them to sit nicely when you come in the door for a treat. If a dog's sitting, they can't be jumping. So just be aware of how you are using reinforcements in your dog's life, because either way, if you're using positive or negative, you're reinforcing those behaviors. I hope this clears up a little bit of the first two quadrants of operant conditioning. If you have any questions on the difference between positive and negative reinforcements, let me know. I'd be happy to answer any questions. And if you need some help going over to positive reinforcement training, just reach out. I'm always here. Let's schedule a private session. All right, guys, have a great rest of your day.